And Ms. Rivas, you talked about earlier with regards to the strangulation exam that part of it involves sort of a visual head-to-toe exam. Did you do that in this case with Fatima?
Yes.
Okay. And did you also document your observations in your report?
Yes.
Okay. And when you did the examination, well, let me ask you this question. When Fatima first arrived at the ER, did she have clothes on?
Yes.
Okay. And then as part of the examination process, was her clothes left on or did they have to come off?
No, I ask my patients to put a gown on, a hospital gown.
And you testified that as part of the head-to-toe exam, you described the process in which you would conduct the head-to-toe exam. Did you follow that same procedure and process in this case with Fatima?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what, if any, observations did you make regarding her face or her head or scalp area?
That she had some injuries.
Okay, and what were some of your observations?
She had some red spots on her face and neck, small red spots, and
Okay.
some abrasions.
Okay, and what are abrasions?
They're superficial injuries in the skin.
Okay. When you say superficial injuries, like, are we talking about, is that a bruise? Is that a cut? Is that a scrape?
Usually it would be considered like a scratch or a scrape. That
Okay. And based on your training experience with regards to strangulation, what can cause, during a strangulation episode, what can cause abrasions to the body?
they can be caused by an object or like the friction between the skin due to grabbing
Okay.
or the pressure applied.
Okay. And what about her shoulder area? Did you know any injuries to her shoulder area?
She had an abrasion on her shoulder.
Okay. And what about her neck area and under her chin?
She had an abrasion there as well.
Okay. And to your knowledge, was besides the examination that you conducted as part of Fatima's stay at the emergency room on October 18th, were further testing ordered for her?
Yes.
And what were some of those testing as it relates to the strangulation incident?
A head and neck CT.
Okay, what's a CT?
It's a scan.
Okay. And after the exam, was Fatima released from the hospital right away?
No.
Okay. And do you know whether she stayed at the hospital overnight or was she released like 3 or 4 hours later?
I believe she stayed a few days.
Okay. And you indicated that you've conducted more than one strangulation exam. Are all patients who arrive at the emergency room indicating that they may have been strangled? Do they all stay overnight or for a few days?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness.
You may.
Ms. Rivas, I've handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 67 to 81. If you could look through those and let me know when you're done looking through them. Okay, and do you recognize what I've handed you?
Yes.
And what are Exhibits 67 to 81?
The photographs that I took of Fatima.
Okay, and do those photographs accurately depict the, your observations of the injuries that she had on her body?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state offers for admission to evidence Exhibits 67 to 81.
Any objection, Mr. Keating?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry?
No, Your Honor.
67 through 81 shall be admitted.
Permission to publish?
You may.
Ms. Rivas, I'm showing you what's been admitted as Exhibit 67. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Fatima.
Okay. And when you first arrived at the emergency room, was Fatima already there?
Yes.
Okay, and was that, when you first saw her, is this basically her appearance?
Yes.
Exhibit 68, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
A closer up of her face.
Okay. And what is the purpose of taking sort of photographs of the patient's whole body or their face?
Reference and baseline.
What do you mean by reference and baseline?
A reference when we document injuries, and then parents, if there's any issues with like anything different with their clothes, and then a close up of her face.
Okay, close up, what's the purpose of taking a photo of close up of her face?
Just for documentation purposes.
Okay. Exhibit 69, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
The debris in her hair.
Okay. Exhibit 70, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
An abrasion on her neck.
Okay, and I'm pointing to this area that is sort of in the semi-upper portion of the center of the image. What are we looking at here?
A linear abrasion.
Okay. Exhibit 71, what are we looking at in this photograph?
The right side of her face, to just as a reference.
Okay.
And the area around her eye.
Okay, and when you say the area around her eye, what is the purpose of taking a photograph of the area around her eye?
To document abnormal findings.
Okay. And did you have abnormal findings around the area of her eye?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 72, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Small red circular spots on her, around her eyes.
Okay, and when you say small red circular spots, are you referring to to this area that is in the middle of the image?
Yes.
Okay, and what were those small red dots?
They can be indicative of petechiae.
Okay, and what is petechiae?
Petechiae are the small, less than 3 millimeter spots that are indicative of like capillary rupture.
Okay. Exhibit 73, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Her neck, an abrasion.
Okay.
Oh, that's-
And when you say abrasion, are you referring to this line that is in the middle of the image?
correct.
Okay. And is there also discoloration that is surrounding the abrasion here?
Yes.
Exhibit 74, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
A close-up of the neck and the abrasions on the neck.
Okay, and we sort of see you have what looks like a ruler that is going through the, going down the right-hand side of the image and then going across the bottom of the image. What's the purpose of having that ruler there?
To reference the length of the abrasions.
Okay. Exhibit 75, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Abrasions.
Okay. And is there, we see here in the, sort of the center of the photograph, the coloration is different than compared to the rest of her skin tone. Is that discoloration on her neck area as well?
Yes.
Exhibit 76, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph? Let me zoom it out.
Close-up of the previous photo documenting the length with the ruler of the abrasion.
Okay. And is this on her left side of her neck or on her right, on the right side of her neck?
Right.
Okay. Exhibit 77, can you tell the jury what you're trying to document in this photograph? Then zoom in for you.
Abrasions,
Okay. And is this on her, on the left side of her neck or on her right side?
the left side.
Exhibit 78, can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
The left side of her neck, abrasions.
Okay. And when you say abrasions, are you referring to sort of this circular line that is running down sort of the center of the image?
Yes.
And is there also discoloration surrounding the abrasion?
Yes.
Exhibit 79, can you tell the jury what is depicted in this photograph?
The ruler to measure and reference the left abrasions.
Okay. Exhibit 80, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Fatima's left shoulder.
Okay. And what are you trying to document with regards to this photograph?
The abrasions.
Okay. Exhibit 81, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Her left shoulder.
Okay.
Abrasions.
And is there also discoloration that is being depicted in the center of the photograph?
Yes.
No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
Thank you, Ryan. I just wanted to clarify, you said, good morning, bud.
Good morning.
You said you arrived and did the examination at about what time?
About 6 p.m.
Okay. And you ran through a bunch of symptoms that had been reported during and after this incident,
Yes.
right? And that included headache, dizzy, lightheaded, and I'm going to combine both during and after, loss of consciousness, memory loss, confusion, weakness, numbness, vision changes, and ringing from ears, correct?
Correct.
And by the time you did this report at 6 o'clock, those had all resolved, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then the only ones that were still noted at 6 o'clock were the neck pain, sore throat, difficulty swallowing, pain with swallowing, and difficulty breathing, correct?
Correct. And the body pain.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's down at the bottom. Body pain, and that was regarding left shoulder, right?
And left hip.
Okay. Left side of the body, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, all the information that you received from Fatima was her subjective responses to your questions, correct?
It was her response to my questions.
Right. So like you said, you gave her a scale of 1 to 5, and she said 5 on how hard the pressure was, correct?
Yes, she reported in her words, and then I asked her on a scale of 1 to 5.
Okay. So the subjective scale of her saying 1 to 5. Her 5 might be different than my 5.
Correct.
Right. Okay. And she indicated to you that the length of time that the pressure was applied to her was about 5 minutes. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you said that you had done how many strangulation examinations? 10 to 13, is that right?
Correct.
All right. And how long have you been doing those examinations?
4 years.
Okay. And how many hospitals are you currently working out of?
4.
4, okay. All right. I'm looking at your report. Do you still have your copy there in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at page 7 of 11 there.
And this is Exhibit
I'm sorry.
82.
Exhibit 82, sorry, Your Honor, I don't have it here in front of me. And I'm looking at page 7. These are where you're noting the examination signs, correct?
Correct.
And it's separated into 8 different categories. And each one of those, I believe, yeah, all 8 of those, and we can go through them just so we have them in the record. On the upper left, it starts face, head, and scalp. Underneath that is eyes. Underneath that is nose. Underneath that is shoulders. Underneath neck under chin on the right side. Underneath that ears. Underneath that mouth. Underneath that chest. Correct?
Correct.
All right, so that's essentially, it looks like the upper body.
Correct.
Right, okay. And I note that in each one of those, there's a box for petechia. Or petechia, if I'm pronouncing it
Petechiae?
right. Petechiae. None of those boxes are checked, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, your mention on the photo that we were looking at of petechia, that is something that you noted, but you didn't mark on that page. Is that right?
Correct. I put redness on the
Okay.
face.
All right. And is petechia something that you're trained to look for when you do your strangulation exams?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you worked at the jail?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know if petechia is something common to a lot of strangulations?
It can be.
Okay. But it doesn't always appear?
No.
Okay. Does the length of time that somebody is strangled, does that make a difference to you when you do your evaluation?
No.
Not at all? Okay. How about the period of length of unconsciousness? Does that make any difference to you?
No.
So why do you ask how long the strangulation is if it doesn't matter?
To get their note of it and so that I can document their findings and then present them to the provider.
Okay. And so if they tell you that and you put it in your report, does everybody else rely on that?
What do you mean by that?
I
Everyone
mean-
else?
Just
Anyone-
want- just
I'm
want-
sorry.
You can't ask questions,
Oh,
but
sorry.
you can indicate that you don't understand the question.
I don't understand that.
Well, you've prepared this report, right? Strangulation?
Yes.
Okay. And so presumably you've prepared this, other people are going to look at it.
Correct.
Okay. And so they're going to look at the information provided and they are going to assume that you've reported it correctly, right?
Correct.
Okay. So everything that is reported, though, in this portion of the history of what happened comes from the person you're examining, right?
In what portion? I'm sorry, could you rephrase that?
When you're asking them questions, right? Estimated length of time pressure was applied.
Correct.
You're asking the questions of the person you're examining.
Yes.
Okay. And so if they're giving you erroneous information, that affects what other people are going to see, correct?
Possibly.
Okay. And so if they are operating with incorrect information, they could make incorrect assessments, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained?
Okay. All right. And just so we're clear, Fatima did tell you that she fell to the ground, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Larry, cross-examination?
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Approximately how long did you spend with Fatima?
Approximately with her 3 hours?
Okay. And that's entirely in the emergency department?
Correct.
And were you with her continuously, or were there breaks during that time?
I don't recall there were breaks.
Okay. Is that in your experience, is that a pretty typical duration?
Yes.
And your piece of this is kind of, as you've described, the medical examination of Fatima, correct?
Correct.
And then also kind of getting her verbal description, correct?
Correct.
And then, before you were called in, you had no idea of this, correct?
Correct.
And did you review police reports?
No.
And once you, finalize your report, and she is either admitted or discharged or further down the hospital process, do you have further involvement with her?
No.
Okay. And so, safe to assume that you didn't review videos of an incident, right?
Correct.
And that wouldn't normally be a part of your examination, right?
No.
Okay, so you're not necessarily, you have an investigatory role in a medical sense, correct?
I have a role to assess my patient in a medical way.
Okay, fair. And I'm not trying to, just in terms of you are providing information from a medical sense that is also going to then be used. It gets turned over. We're here in court, right? In a law enforcement aspect, right?
Potentially.
Okay. But it's not your role, and I'm not criticizing, but just kind of defining the parameters. So it's not your role to then further investigate, correct?
Correct.
You're not double checking what she reports based on videos, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm not suggesting that you should, okay? Just so we're clear. All right. So do you start with the description, or do you start with the medical examination? What's the order of procedure?
I start by getting consent. And then I do a medical history. And then ask the questions. Basically, I follow this form. So I
Okay.
start on page 1 and I move through to the end of the page.
Okay. And I see Providence, so this is a form that is prepared by Providence?
Correct.
And-
And we are referring to Exhibit 82.
Thank you, Your Honor. And do you have any say in what goes into the form?
No.
All right. So looking on page 3 of 82 is the checklist of symptoms, correct?
Correct.
And it's about 3/4 of a page, single space?
Yes.
And then you're talking, the options are no, during the incident, after the incident, and now, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you're able to differentiate, and she was able to differentiate for you kind of when she had certain symptoms, correct?
Correct.
And there were a few notes as to details that she provided, correct?
Correct.
And those details, as she described, pertain to the actions of her dad, correct?
I believe so, yes. Correct.
Okay. So then we go to page 4, and there is a very long handwritten page, correct?
Yes.
And that is in your handwriting, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that summarizes her description. I think that is entitled History of Assault, correct?
Correct.
And so at this point, she's then kind of going start to finish, kind of that whole day. There's some stuff that happens before the incident and after. Is that fair?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Now, earlier when she was talking to you, she described certain symptoms, headache, correct?
Yes.
Dizziness, lightheadedness, right?
Yes.
Memory loss, correct?
Yes.
And confusion,
Yes.
among other symptoms that you've previously testified about, correct?
Correct.
And the descriptions that she had are not inconsistent with strangulation, correct?
Correct.
And you weren't surprised to hear her talk about kind of the short symptoms I just listed, correct?
No.
Okay. And so when somebody loses consciousness, how is that medically described? What is going on to the person when they lose consciousness?
What is going on? Well, they're, I mean, you could say passing out. They're
Okay.
they're not cognitively there.
Okay, so in terms of, so that would be describing the memory loss, correct? That you
No.
don't- Okay, well, I think we all, this is where lawyers ask obvious questions and we all kind of understand the answer, but we still have to put it in the record. And so if somebody loses consciousness, they're not awake, is that fair?
Correct.
Okay, and so they're not perceiving events around them and able to describe. Is that a fair description?
Yes.
Okay. Which would, one side effect of that would be memory loss for that period of time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. She described confusion during and after.
Yes.
And so, did you describe, I mean, confusion can be like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening? That would be one form of confusion, correct?
Correct.
There could also be kind of confusion in a medical sense because of loss of oxygen or other things. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So when somebody loses consciousness, is it like a switch or is it you're kind of drifting in and you're drifting out?
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. I mean,
Okay.
it depends.
Okay. And that's fair. And so when somebody then regains consciousness, they don't necessarily know how long they've been unconscious. Is that fair?
Correct.
And they may have confusion as to what just happened, right?
Possibly.
They could wake up or begin to regain consciousness in a different location from their last memory. Fair?
Fair.
And they may not necessarily know how they got there, correct?
Correct.
And what happened, obviously they wouldn't know what happened while they're unconscious, right?
Correct.
And they would have feelings, pain, correct? Let me rephrase. If they have pain, they don't necessarily know what caused the pain while they were unconscious. Fair?
Correct.
And other symptoms that may have been a product of what happened leading up to being unconscious and while they were unconscious, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So she described for you losing consciousness during the incident with her dad. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then she woke up either in close proximity to her mom or being held and grabbed by her mom, correct? If you recall.
Could you ask that again?
Yeah, so prior to losing consciousness, she was in a struggle with her dad. That's what she described to you, correct?
Correct.
When she woke up, she wasn't still in the struggle with her dad. And I'm asking if you remember. If you don't, that's okay too.
I don't think she specified that.
Okay. Okay. So she just described for you regaining consciousness at some point and didn't delineate where her dad was, where her mom was.
I'm going to reference my note.
Perfect. And you're looking at Exhibit 82?
Yes.
She stated she was on the floor.
Okay. And didn't necessarily say in proximity to mom or to dad in that answer. Is that fair? When she woke up.
She stated she was on the floor and my mom was grabbing my neck.
Okay. And so then, did she tell you how long she was held by her mom?
No.
Did she tell you how long she was held by her dad?
She said it felt like 5 minutes.
For her dad?
Correct.
Okay. She then said that she was able to get free from her mom, correct?
Correct.
And then that somebody was holding me, but I don't know who it was, correct?
Correct.
And did she describe what that additional holding was?
No.
And at that point, then she runs to the school, correct?
Correct.
Okay. We go to page 5. There's a pre-printed question as to what did the patient think was going to happen? And this is in pertaining to strangulation, correct?
Correct.
And her answer about that pertained to what her dad did, correct?
I believe. Just in general, with the situation.
Well, she said that she thought he was going to kill me, right?
Correct.
Okay.
She thought, yes, I thought I was going to die, that he was going to kill me.
Okay. And then when did the strangulation event stop? Isaiah punched Dad, knocking him out.
Correct.
Okay. So in terms of the strangulation event, it stopped when Dad was stopped by Isaiah. That's what you reported, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In terms of when you regain consciousness and there is a strangulation event, it can affect, and we're talking about the neck, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes, okay, so strangulation isn't necessary. In the way we're talking about strangulation, we're not talking about compressing someone's chest, right? We're talking about compressing the neck.
Correct. Strangulation involves the neck.
Okay, and that can affect breathing, correct?
Yes.
And it can affect your voice
Yes.
and your ability to speak,
Yes.
particularly just after the pressure is released, correct?
No, it could present days later.
Okay. But in terms of, if somebody said, I had difficulty speaking after the pressure was released, that would not be uncommon, correct?
Correct.
So if somebody said, I was trying to speak, but I couldn't get words out, that is a possible side effect of strangulation, correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I would have to ask more questions if it was, some people are in shock,
Okay.
and that could possibly not they could possibly not produce words in that sense.
Okay. So, fair enough. So, I mean, being unconscious can impact your brain is kind of resetting when you're regaining consciousness, correct? Is that a
Yes.
okay? And so you could have difficulty speaking from being unconscious, correct?
Yes.
From strangulation, yes?
Potentially.
Okay. And confusion,
Yes.
which she described and she documented, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Zoe, redirect.
Ms. Rivas, when Mr. Kading was asking you questions, he asked you several questions about your documentation of petechiae on your report. Do you remember that line of question?
Yes.
And specifically, he asked you about page 7 of your report, and that's the page that has the different body parts and any observations you made of those body parts. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of your strangulation exam report, are there also a portion that is labeled traumagram?
Yes.
And what is typically contained in the traumagram portion of the report?
Descriptive documentation of my findings.
Okay, and did you also, with the report that you generated as it pertains to your examination of Fatima, did you also document your findings on pages 8 and 9, that is entitled traumograms?
Yes,
Okay, and on those 2 pages, did you at any point document your findings of petechiae?
yes,
Okay, and where did you document on page 8 as to the findings of petechiae?
where I showed 2 and 3, area 3, which is the neck, and then 5,
And which area of her face is area 5?
around the eye. Oh, I'm sorry, correction. The 5 is the eye.
Okay. And then also on page 9 of your report, is that also another page that is allowing you to document any physical findings you observe on the different parts of the body?
Yes,
And do you document any findings of petechiae on that page?
yes,
And where is the petechiae as you documented for Fatima?
on her cheek.
Okay. And with regards to page 3, which is the page that talks about sort of reported symptoms, Mr. Kading asked you about Fatima's answers to those, and he talked about it that basically it was her subjective, that it was her answers. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes,
Based on your training and experience, when a patient comes in and indicate they have a headache, is there any magical blood test you can have them do that will say patient has headache?
no,
Okay, are there any x-rays that can be taken once you see the results, it'll say patient has headache?
no,
Okay, and so when it comes to asking a patient, whether it's as part of a strangulation exam or any time you see a patient outside of the ER, when it comes to asking about headaches and lightheadedness and dizziness, are all of those responses in essence what the patient has to convey to you?
yes,
Okay. And with regards to neck pain, when it comes to the level of pain, is that something that you can is there a blood test that you can have conduct on a patient that'll tell you the amount of pain that they have?
no,
Okay, and is that basically in essence something that is the patient's own words, because there's no test or x-ray that can document pain?
no. Yes, it is their words.
Okay. And with regards to some of the reported symptoms, you talked about some of the symptoms that Fatima had indicated yes to, that she exhibited signs of. Were there also symptoms that she in fact stated that she did not feel like she had?
Yes,
Okay, and in fact she indicated that she never coughed up blood, is that right?
correct.
And what about nausea and vomiting? Did she ever say whether she had nausea and vomiting?
She denied any nausea or vomiting.
Okay. And Mr. Leary asked about, I believe his line of questioning at one point, you talked about somebody being in shock. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes,
And based on your training experience, when somebody is in shock, is that typical when it comes to somebody who just underwent trauma?
yes,
Okay, and based on your training experience, can somebody who just underwent trauma, can that sort of impact their ability to tell time or their sense of time?
yes,
Okay, and with regards to, there was also questions about loss of consciousness. This might sound like a silly question, but when you're unconscious, are you able to tell time?
no,
And are you able to tell the passage of time?
no.
And in this case, did Fatima ever indicate whether she lost consciousness?
She did.
Okay. No further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, recross?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry, recross?
We are, thank you.
Thank you. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry? You are excused. You may step down. You're free to go. Ms. Zoe, if you could come forward and take Exhibit 82, please. Thank you. Members of the jury, it's 10:25. We normally take our recess at 10:30, so this is good timing. Have the bailiff lead you back. We anticipate the recess will be 15 minutes. Thank you. We'll be in recess for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Court's in recess.
Estimation that Dr. Stankus will be here by 2?
2:15,
Okay,
what she said.
all right. And I'll ask Ms. Zoe. Ms. Zoe, do you anticipate that Ms. Wall's testimony will likely be concluded before noon? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so then what I intend to do is to indicate to the jury that we would like them back at 2. And that way, in case anyone's running late, everyone will be here by 2:15. And hopefully Dr. Stankus will be here at that time, and we can convene at 2:15. Any issue with proceeding that way? I don't want the jury to be here when we know they're not coming in at 1:30. Ms. Zoe? No, Your Honor. Mr. Katie? No, Your Honor. Mr. Leary?
Agreed, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and bring the jury in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one thing,
Oh.
did you review the language of the instruction we proposed?
I apologize. Yes, I did, and it is very consistent with what I think I would have said had I done it myself, so I will read this as is. Thank you. You can have your witness go ahead and come into the courtroom, please. Please be seated. Members of the jury, at this time, we will continue with the presentation of evidence. Ms. Zoe, if you could call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, so I would like to call Lisa Wall.
Come forward, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
Please be seated. Ms. Zoe, you may inquire when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Lisa Wall, W-A-H-L.
Are you currently employed, Ms. Wall?
I am.
How are you employed?
I'm a family nurse practitioner at Providence Abuse Intervention Center.
And what is a family nurse practitioner?
I'm an advanced registered nurse practitioner with the capacity to assess, diagnose, and treat.
Okay. And besides working at Providence Abuse Intervention Center, are you also on call sometimes at hospitals?
I am, as a forensic nurse examiner.
Okay. And which hospitals are you on call at?
At Providence Centralia Emergency Department, Providence St. Peter Hospital Emergency Department, and at Madigan Emergency Department.
Okay. And besides being employed at Providence Abuse Intervention Center and then being on call at Providence Centralia, Providence St. Peter's Hospital, and Madigan, do you work at any other medical settings?
I do.
Okay, and where is that?
I'm a per diem registered nurse at Mason General Hospital.
Okay. Is that sort of weekday thing, weekend?
That is put my son through college thing, so that's my side hustle.
Okay, all right. And you indicated that you are an advanced registered nurse practitioner. What kind of, well, let me ask you this. Can you describe to the jury your education background?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the San Jose State University. I have a Master's Science in Nursing from the University of Alaska in Anchorage. I have a board certification through the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners and as a nurse practitioner, a family nurse practitioner. And then I have board certification through the International Association of Forensic Nurses as a sexual assault nurse examiner, certified in both pediatrics as well as adolescents through adulthood.
Okay. And what is a advanced registered nurse practitioner?
I provide patient care through the context of the life trajectory, so from birth to death.
Okay. And then you indicated that you are currently employed at Providence Abuse Intervention Center. What is the Providence Abuse Intervention Center?
The Providence Abuse Intervention Center is within the Monarch Children's Justice Advocacy Center. We provide care to children under the age of 18 as well as developmental disabled adults when there's been a concern that there's been child abuse, neglect, or torture, or some combination therein.
Okay. And as part of the child abuse, that also could entail sexual abuse, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then what is a forensic nurse examiner?
A forensic nurse examiner is a registered nurse who has specialized training in the forensics field. So what that requires is training provided by, for me, the International Association of Forensic Nurses, wherein we provide medical care to the patient as well as evidence collection, which then bridges the patient care with the legal system.
Okay. And with regards to your responsibilities as a forensic nurse examiner, is your main responsibility still patient care?
Yes.
Okay. And when you're working in this, at the Providence Abuse Intervention Center as a family nurse practitioner, is your number one priority patient care?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of your responsibilities as a forensic nurse examiner, do you also have the ability to conduct strangulation exams?
I do.
Okay, and do you have any training or experience when it comes to conducting strangulation exams?
I do.
Okay, and if you could please tell the jury what that training is?
So for a forensic nurse to do forensic examinations on non-fatal strangulation issues, I have taken trainings through the National Institute of Strangulation Prevention. They collaborate with the Department of Justice, Indian Health Services, National Institute of Health, these federal domains that work together to provide hourly, half-day, full-day, 3-day trainings on the clinical assessment, documentation, and care of strangulation involving children and adults.
Okay. And have you yourself conducted or performed any strangulation exams?
I have
Okay, and approximately how many?
dozens.
Okay, and then as part of your responsibilities at Providence Abuse Intervention Center, do you sometimes provide follow-up care to children who may have underwent a strangulation episode?
I do.
Okay. And Ms. Wall, in the medical context, what is strangulation?
Strangulation has to do with the external compression of the neck which impedes airflow and or blood flow, which then can cause loss of consciousness, brain injury, and death.
Okay. And how, you indicated that strangulation in the medical context is the external pressure that can impact to the neck, that can impact airflow. How would external pressure to the neck impact airflow based on your training experience?
When you press on the neck, you're pressing on your trachea, your windpipe. When you're pressing on that area of your body, your lungs aren't able to expand and to collect oxygen. When you're not able to oxygenate your blood, the blood flow to your brain is compromised. When you don't have enough oxygen to your body system, then you will die.
Okay. And when an individual does not have oxygenated blood flowing to their brain, can that impact their brain?
It can. Think of, in our neck, we have arteries that pump oxygenated blood up to our brains, and then we have the jugular veins that bring deoxygenated blood from the brain back down into the body to reoxygenate through our lung systems. When we don't have that oxygenation provided to the brain, then we experience a host of health issues, primarily loss of consciousness. Once we've lost consciousness and that compression continues, these muscles in our neck relax and the compression is much more easier. If the strangulation doesn't stop immediately, you'll experience brain injury and death.
Okay.
And I would just indicate for the record that the witness, while testifying, is using her hands to describe the things that she is talking about related to the neck and head.
Okay. And in this case, do you recall seeing a patient by the name of Fatima Ali on October 30th of 2024?
I do.
Okay, and where did you see Miss Ali?
At the Providence Abuse Intervention Center,
Okay, and then who referred her to your care?
she was referred to our clinic following hospitalization at Providence St. Peter Hospital as a result of complications due to strangulation.
Okay. And did you also, as part of your follow-up care with Fatima on October 30th, did you also document sort of your exam of Fatima in a report?
I did.
Okay. And as part of your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you sort of had to obtain some of information from her about her height and her weight?
I did.
Okay, and what was her height?
5 feet 1 inches tall,
Okay, and what was her weight?
100 pounds.
Okay. And were you also aware of an strangulation exam that was conducted by a forensic nurse examiner by the name of Synovia Rivas?
I was.
And prior to your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you review the report that was generated by Ms. Rivas?
I did.
Okay. And were you, did you also review the medical records from Providence St. Peter's Hospital as it relates to Fatima prior to your examination on October 30th?
I did.
Okay. And with regards to the diagnoses that she received, was pneumomediastinum one of the diagnoses?
It was.
Okay, and what is pneumomediastinum?
Pneumomediastinum is a big word. The mediastinum is here in your chest. It holds your heart, your trachea, your esophagus, and major blood vessels in this area. Pneumomediastinum means that there is air in the mediastinum that got there from say, a medical incident. If you were intubated, it could have caused some sort of a blunt trauma injury or other means in which this air has escaped from your lungs or your airways somehow, and it's now in the mediastinum.
Okay. No, this might sound like a silly question, Ms. Wall, but is air in the mediastinum a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a bad thing.
Okay. And also, prior to your examination of Fatima on October 30th, were you also, you indicated you reviewed the strangulation report that was prepared by Ms. Rivas. Were you aware of the signs and symptoms that Fatima exhibited during her admission into the ER on October 18th?
I was.
Okay. And when you met with Fatima on October 30th, what, if anything, did she say about any vision changes that she had since the alleged strangulation incident?
She said that her vision was more blurry.
Okay. And did she sort of explain to you in what way as to what she was able to see or she couldn't see?
Yes. In the process of a conversation with my patients, I ask in a head-to-toe manner a review of systems, so their health as they understand it from head to toe. And she indicated to me that she normally wears glasses. She didn't have access to her glasses, so that her vision baseline was blurry, but that since being strangled, her vision was, quote, more blurry.
Okay. And what about her hearing? Does she also indicate whether she had any hearing issues since the alleged strangulation incident?
Yeah, so she does not have hearing issues baseline. When she was describing her hearing, when I'm asking her questions about her hearing, she told me that it was, quote, more sensitive.
Okay. And you sort of mentioned baseline. What do you mean by baseline?
Baseline is prior to being assaulted.
And what's the importance of sort of establishing a patient's baseline?
To understand the potential consequences of the assault. So the baseline is their status quo, their normal health status prior to the events they experienced, what they experienced, the changes that happen, and any residual or lingering results from the trauma.
Okay. And did Fatima say anything to you about what her jaw was feeling?
Yes.
Okay, and what does she say about that specifically?
She told me how he had had her by her neck and her jaw, and that as a result, now when I'm seeing her now, that's a couple weeks later, I believe, since the trauma, that she was still she had range of motion, but that she had to move slowly because if she were to move too quickly, it would trigger a pain that she just didn't want to experience.
Okay. And after you examined, well, let me ask you another question. Does she, in addition to talking about her range of motion as it relates to her jaw, does she also talk about her range of motion in general when it comes to her neck?
Yes, we were referencing her neck and her jaw, just this whole shoulder girdle area.
Okay. And after you examined Fatima on, at the end of your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you also provide her with a patient care plan?
I did.
Okay. And then subsequent to October 30th of 2024, did you see Fatima again at the Abuse Intervention Center on December 5th?
I did.
Okay. And on December 5th, did she talk about whether she still had symptoms from the alleged strangulation incident?
She did. She talked about how when she